Congratulations, you're under contract, but don't get too excited yet. We have a few things we need to work on first, including getting through due diligence and clearing contingencies. Not all contracts have the same contingencies, but I'm going to go through some of the main contingencies that we typically see. First, let's talk about due diligence. This is a specified time frame in the agreement that allows the buyer to complete any inspections or research any specifics about the property. This is typically when the buyer will schedule property inspections and any other inspections like radon, mold, septic, termites, just to name a few. So I always try to remind sellers that we are not done negotiating just because we have our binding agreement. If the buyer finds something unsatisfactory about the property, they may ask the seller for concessions, either to make the repair or to give a credit, either money off the price or added to the closing costs for those repairs that are needed. So something important for sellers to keep in mind is that you do need to make sure you keep all your utilities on for inspections. Not having utilities on can cause delays and extensions in this process. Your home is under a microscope during this time frame, but you got to try to not let it get the best of you. When you review a buyer's request, we will discuss whether they're reasonable or not and determine how we want to respond. Now, something that can also happen during due diligence is the buyer can change their mind altogether and terminate the contract. They can do this for any reason, which is typically already part of the agreement, so the buyer has this right already. So we don't actually change your property status to pending until we are past due diligence. This allows us to continue showing the property and marketing the property to obtain a potential backup offer during this due diligence time frame. Once we're past due diligence, there's still several items we're working on to get ready for closing. The first contingency we typically focus on is clearing the appraisal. Sometimes people get the inspection and the appraisal confused, but they are two separate items. The appraiser is a licensed person usually visiting the home after due diligence. The appraiser provides their report to the lender on their opinion of the value of your property. If for some reason the property does not appraise for the contract price, the buyer will let us know and provide us a copy of the appraisal. We'll review that appraisal to see if it's accurate. If not, sometimes we can submit a rebuttal, and that requires the appraiser to review the appraisal again. In any case, the buyer may ask the seller to reduce the price to match the appraisal or negotiate a new price somewhere in between. If the parties cannot come to terms on a new sales price, then the buyer can terminate the agreement. Then we have the financing contingency to clear. This is the time frame when the buyer has to ensure they can get the loan. If they get declined for the loan during this time frame, they can terminate the agreement. Now, if the buyer has a home to sell, then their purchase can be contingent on the sale of their current home before they can purchase your property. This is a common contingency that we see, and we'll keep a close watch during the contract process to see that they're on track with their transaction as well. So another item that needs to be addressed is title. The attorney will run a title search, and if any title issues appear, they will have to be cleared by the seller prior to closing. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our next video in this series, which is what you need to know to prepare for your real estate closing.